is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 975 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here with today's very special co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
What up, dude? I'm glad to be back. Oh my god, you're almost at episode 1,000. I didn't realize. That's crazy.
Yes, we are getting there.
Thanks for having me back, though. I'm like glad to be here to hopefully make you cringe once again.
You can do that. I mean, we can both make people cringe, absolutely.
We have a talent for it, I think.
So tell everybody who you are and what you do.
My name is Mike Harlow. I have a YouTube channel. I sort of just run my mouth, and people either listen or don't, or are horrified by that. I don't know. One of the above, but yeah.
That's a good thing. I mean, you want to have a channel where people actually want to listen to you run your mouth about whatever it is. I mean, when I went on with you, I think we talked about everything from, well, we talked about old horror movies, because that's your bag, is you're really into the horror genre. I am not, but I do love some from my childhood, and maybe we'll get into some of that today. But we talked about that. We talked about politics. We got into all sorts of stuff back then.
That's sort of, you know, we usually take the scenic route in conversation. I don't believe you that you're not into horror movies, though. I always say you are like a horror fan trapped in a non-horror fan's body.
Is that like the case du jour for everybody? Like, y'all feel like you can convert everybody to the genre?
Yes. I feel like you're a horror fan and just don't realize it. And Olivia, we're gonna convert her.
I don't think she will. I saw her in the chat earlier. I don't know if she's still there. I can't see it right now. But if she is, I guarantee you, she's like, no, I'm not watching it. She does. Sometimes she's like, this show's too serious. Like, she doesn't even want to see serious stuff, let alone the horror genre.
That's what I am here for, to take away all seriousness.
That's good. That's good. And we are going to be less serious than normal, perhaps, today, guys. We got a bunch of stuff to get into. So would you please, before we get started, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. We're about to hit 389,000 subscribers, which is a lot. That's like a lot of people. So you should go and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. If you're wondering where Mary is, I did see some questions about it in the chat earlier. I guess I should continue to tell you guys. Mary is live with me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then Tuesday and Thursdays, I'm bringing on great guest co-hosts like Mike here. Thank you so much.
Well, I feel like that's a bit of a downgrade for people, though. Like, you're expecting Mary, and you get a different kind of Mary.
I mean, that's so. I say the same thing like every day whenever Mary's not here. I'm like, look, we need to get 2 crisis parties, or Mary isn't going to come back. Because let's face it, you don't want to be stuck with me. Nobody on planet Earth wants to be stuck with me. So if you want Mary to come back, you're gonna gotta help keep the show on the air. So guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new here, like I keep saying. Remember, if you can't watch the YouTube or the Rumble version of this channel, also shout out to everybody, the people watching over on Rumble. Thank you guys so much. But if you can't watch on YouTube or on Rumble, or perhaps you just prefer the audio version of the podcast, I tend to listen to a lot of audio stuff even on YouTube, but a lot of that is without the screen. If you don't want to put up with YouTube, or you don't want to pay for YouTube Premium and you're in your car, you can listen to Pop Culture Crisis on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. Wherever fine podcasts are sold, you can find us, so you can go ahead and listen to us there. I also intermittently put out episodes of the PCC Weekend Update when I'm recording more videos, you know, throughout the week that aren't part of the channel, so you can find bonus content over there as well. So thank you guys all so much for that, and thank you to everybody that has subscribed that is new here. If you are catching this in the back, you know, in the back half of this, if you're watching this later, we appreciate all the new subscribers, so thank you guys very much. So what are we getting into today? Well, we are going to talk about Conformity Gate again, because we talked a little bit about it yesterday. Today is just a general update because, you know, the cope continues. Basically what's happened is they thought the super secret mega episode of Stranger Things, you know, the real finale was going to happen yesterday on January 7th. And what they found is, you know, the clock struck midnight and January 8th hit, they had to cope and realize that that's not what's happening. But now they have decided that the real date is January 12th on Monday. So we are going to talk about that. Mike also has his own thoughts on Will Byers' speech that went viral a couple of weeks ago. So we're going to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about celebrities running for public office, which is something that hello, I heard that. There are a bunch of celebrities that are running for public office right now. I believe what I've seen so far is we've got Spencer Pratt, who I keep almost calling Chris Pratt, but it's not. It's Spencer Pratt. Also, Trisha Paytas, Michael Rappaport, and supposedly they want Jimmy Kimmel to run in 2028. So we've got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, I know, right? We're also going to talk about Kathleen Kennedy and the possibility that she might actually be leaving Lucasfilm now. I feel like everybody in the space knows better than to commentate on that, because how many times have people predicted the departure of Kathleen Kennedy? Of course, the one time you don't cover it would probably end up being the time that it actually does happen. So we're going to talk about that. There's also stuff. There was a report from, it's like Concerned Women for America, about the amount of LGBTQ content that is being pushed on minors at Netflix. We're going to discuss that. And another one that I'm actually going to save to the end because it's so gross. You guys are going to love it. I tweeted about it earlier if you want an idea of like some type of hint as to what I'm talking about. But if you are ready, Mike, we can go. Are you ready?
Oh, I am ready. I am very ready.
All right. All right, guys. So if you don't know what happened, Conformity Gate is what exploded out of the finale for Stranger Things. A lot of diehard fans of the series were not happy with the finale and believe that there is a super secret Duffer Brothers extra episode that was going to come out after the fact, and they had predicted that this was going to happen on January 7th, and it became known as Conformity Gate. And what happened, guys, but if you look at this, Netflix servers actually crashed because so many fans thought that a super secret final episode was going to drop. You can actually see the image here that somebody posted. It says, "Something went wrong. We were having trouble with your request." You'll find lots to explore on the homepage. We got a 20 here, really quick, from Shane H. Wilder. He says, "Olivia says she wants to be stuck with you, Brett. I think she's kind of based, though. I know for one, I don't want to be stuck with you. LOL, JK." Well, I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to be stuck with me either. That's, what can you do? That's just what happens. But thank you, Olivia. I'm glad that you want to be stuck with me. It would be bad if we got married and you didn't want to be stuck with me.
She's all right. Stuck with you forever now.
So this is the coat now, guys. January 7th has come and passed. For everybody in this space, it was January 6th for all who celebrate. And then for Stranger Things fans, it became Conformity Gate. And of course, that date has now come and gone. The servers crashed. And this is what was said in this article, which kind of takes shots at everybody. It says, "The belief is strong within Conformity Gate. Despite nothing happening other than a single sad tear dripping down their cheeks when midnight struck and no episode was revealed, they are clinging to the idea that the Duffer Brothers have one final trick up their sleeves, while all the clues seemingly pointed to a secret episode debut date being on January 7th. Many are now convinced that they misread the signs." That's what it is. They're like QAnon. They have misread the signs, and that the real release date is Monday, January 12th. The date coincides with the premiere of the behind-the-scenes documentary, One Last Adventure, The Making of Stranger Things Season 5. And according to Conformity Gate truthers, this is no mere coincidence. No. The documentary is a ruse designed to throw us off the scent. Do you are you
them that Candace Owens?
Yes. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it was maybe the real version of the final episode of Stranger Things is being dropped into Netflix by an Egyptian plane.
I was just gonna say that.
I had to take the low-hanging fruit on the jokes. I don't watch Candace Owens, so I've got very minimal knowledge about what's going on, so I have to go for the easy layup as far as jokes go. I apologize.
I'm an accomplished hate watcher. Wait, first of all, why is it called Conformity Gate?
I don't know the reason for the terminology. I don't know the reason for the terminology. I just know that that's what it's about. If you're looking about what the information is, so this is the evidence. I'll go back over what we talked about yesterday. This is the evidence cited for Conformity Gate. Frankly, the evidence is frankly ridiculous. I've been looking through this online, hoping to find something convincing, and there is simply nothing to find other than dozens and dozens of clues. Some are in the show, a color change of a dial in a scene, people's haircuts and stances resemble Henry's, tiny blurry things in the background of a scene, a spare line or two, D&D dice shown to add up to 43, referencing a 43rd episode of the show. This also, if you're starting to see repetitive numbers everywhere, that's actually not a good thing. It's kind of like pareidolia, like when you look into a cloud and you see something that isn't there. right? I will give them credit for one thing. What this shows is the extreme dedication of the fan base, and the weird dichotomy that I saw is that most of my Twitter space, I don't call it a friend group, but most of the people that I follow on X, and I mentioned this yesterday, most of the people that I follow on X that talked about the show liked the finale. They were less than thrilled with the Will Byers stuff from the previous episode because they felt that it was ham-fisted and didn't really fit into the flow of that episode. But when it came to the finale, most of the people that I saw didn't have a problem with it, but none of the people that I know would be what I would categorize as like a die-hard Stranger Things fan, but they were okay with it.
Yeah, is anyone really clamoring for more episodes?
I do think there are. I do. Honestly, I do.
Like, what else is there to do? We've had enough.
So what was your problem then with the Will Byers speech? Because you were going off about it.
Have you seen it?
I watched it.
Oh my God, this thing belongs on the Mount Rushmore of cringe. It was, because here's the thing, I actually don't really watch Stranger Things. I just hear, I see clips and hear people talking about it, so I'm kind of caught up. But so I initially heard people talking about this, and I was like, oh, what are people just going overboard, that they're just upset that there's a gay character, blah, blah, blah. No, then I saw the scene. Oh my God. This thing goes on for 7 minutes. It is longer than Bohemian Rhapsody. Wait, it is longer than the operation to capture Maduro.
Yes, that was the meme I saw people posting.
It just is endless. And the thing is, this is like, what was it, the episode before the finale?
Yeah.
Or near the end of this whole long thing for years. There's this threat incoming, things, all this stuff. And they're like, wait a second, though. Let's pause for 7 minutes to talk about how this one guy likes dick. And they gather the entire cast to do it. All like 20 of them. They gather everyone around. And he's like, I'm going to sit you down. And he's crying. And they're crying. And everyone's crying because he likes dick. And so he's crying. And he won't say it either. He won't say it. It's like, just spit it out. Jesus. He's like, he has to give the whole lead up to it for 7 minutes. And he's like, I'm different than everyone. Are you? Are you really? That's the thing. All these people are like, oh, I'm so different than everyone. They're exactly the same.
There is like an obsession in the culture now. There is an obsession in the culture now. I think probably because of social media, to really feel like you have to find a way to stand out from everybody around you, and like it gets harder and harder every day because first of all, you get bombarded with influencers who have huge followings, and you maybe have a hard time feeling like in the world today everybody lives like that, but that's not the truth of the matter. Most people aren't unique. Like I actually make that as a point. It's like, I'm not special, and that's okay. Like, it's actually a good thing. Like, I don't actually see the need or the desire to want to stand out from the crowd exceptionally, other than to do the things that I love to do, to, I guess, try to excel at the things that I do in my life. But other than that, like, there is this desire to feel like you're different from the crowd, which is innate to humans, I think.
Well, and that's the thing. They can't do it through their own individuality. They can't do it through any of their own merit as an individual. So these people think that a sexual orientation is a replacement for a personality. There's nothing unique about them. There's nothing special about them. And they think, oh, it requires this big 7-minute announcement, and everyone needs to gather, and everyone needs to sob. Because, and then, like I said, he's beating around the bush. He won't just spit it out. And then finally he goes, I don't like girls. Bitch, who does?
Well,
who does?
I like one very specific girl.
You like one, okay, but you're the anomaly because you're married. I think maybe, especially like straight single men, do they really like women? Nobody does. They're a pain in the ass. They just pretend to because they want to get the P and the V. Nobody does. Oh, I don't like girls. Okay, congratulations. You're a human being. I'm sorry. Love you, ladies, but you're a pain in the ass sometimes.
Also, it's like, it's a narrative that's like, that would have been relevant 15 years ago. Yes. Like, it would have, like, and it wouldn't even have been, let's face it wouldn't even have been groundbreaking then. Like, we're actually looking at more like 25 years ago, if you want to talk about it being more of a unique concept in television and movies.
And back then, this is what, mid-'80s or something like
Well,
that.
I'm saying
it wasn't everywhere everyone would gather and sob and support you. No, they would have tied rocks around your waist and dumped you in the river.
Yeah, no, I was referring to the concept of putting it on television would have been more.
Oh yeah, it wasn't
25
shoved down your throats back then.
Yes, but
oh my god, it is so embarrassing. So he finally spits it out that, to the shock of absolutely no one, he is a light in the loafers, gay as hell, friend of Dorothy. And everyone, and they're shocked and they're sobbing. And so, it is the most cringeworthy thing ever. One by one, as they're sobbing, each character stands up to say, I support you. And I support you.
Well,
and I support you. Like they're friggin' I am Spartacus.
Well, of course they support them. It's the right thing to do.
It is mind-numbing.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit more of the information on why they believe the date has changed for Conformity Gate. It says, notice how they stopped giving us again, these are some theories online from somebody who's, I guess they're the same type of person. They are the Stranger Things version of like your QAnon aunt or your QAnon uncle, you know, where we go we go to the mall, that type of individual who's posting about how it's all 5D chess. This is what they said. I would
watch that show.
Yes. Notice how they stopped giving us photos with things to add up to January 7th, but gave us a video doc with a date of January 12th? The whiteboard showing the plot that didn't happen is relevant, said one fan about the latest theory update. I think it's to throw us off because we caught on too fast. January 12th is after 7th. Turning to the clues in the Broadway play Stranger Things, The First Shadow, another adds, okay, but Joyce's play was also advertised as something completely different until the last second. People only realized that when they were sat down in the theater to watch it. I'm extending my hope to January 12th. And to that I say, hope is a killer, my friend. Hope is a killer. Haven't you ever seen the meme? It's like, please don't give me hope. You don't
hope rhymes with cope.
Yeah, it really
I love
does.
that January 12th comes after January 7th.
Well,
wow. What a discovery you made. Thank God you're here.
I will give the show credit for this. If you've got fans this dedicated who love what you're making this much, it means that you've connected with people on a very, very visceral level, and that is a good thing. You want to create more shows that do that. But for the most part, I feel like what we're looking from most of these is cope. Is that what you think?
Yeah, and see what I think it is I think that there's a real hunger amongst audiences for something profound and complicated, that all of this is not warranted. And I feel like people are searching for this in different forms of media, and then you watch the actual thing and it's not there. I've seen that happen so many times with different shows and movies, that people have all their theories and all the stuff, and every time all the theories and stuff are 1,000 times more interesting than just the basic stuff that's being regurgitated in the actual show.
That's usually what happens with most of the superhero genre, is like the theories put forth by diehard fans of the comics end up being way more intricate. And I will say that it ends up shooting them in the foot, mainly because a lot of the times their theories are unencumbered by the things that actually prevent stuff from getting done, which is like getting the right actor who might be busy right now, whether you even have the license to use that character, you know, for instance, because not everything is like at Marvel, they don't own all their characters. They don't even own Spider-Man. Spider-Man belongs to Sony still. So it's like they have all these theories, and I bet you it actually annoys the creatives to be like, you know what? I wish I could create that, you know, with no guardrails, where every idea I put on the table is something that we could do. But the real world, when your art is also a form of commerce, doesn't work that way. It's not that simple.
I think they're probably going to end up putting this like 7-minute long Will Byers coming out sort of scene in every movie now. It should be like, you know, like a horror movie and the killer's coming and he's like, wait, let me tell you. Or it's a 9/11 movie and you see the planes coming and he's like, wait, before you do, let me tell you about my insatiable thirst for dick.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, the killer might be a bad guy, but he would never harm you. He's going to kill you, but he's not going to kill you because you're gay. He's just going to kill you because he's the killer, right? Like, do you
remember though when the It movies came out and people were bitching that Pennywise is homophobic because he killed a gay?
That feels like 50,000 internet bitches ago. Oh my gosh.
We've lived we've been through many lifetimes since then.
I think about that sometimes because I was like, I was doing some research like a couple of years ago into the history of the war on Christmas and how far back it goes. And like, bro, people have been culture war bitching for like 30 years or longer. Like, you better be in this for the long haul if you expect to make it in this game. I don't want to. That's a hassle. All right.
Same.
Let's move on. We got more stuff to get into today, guys. So, what is the one thing that celebrities do when the celebrity status starts to fail or go by the wayside? Well, I can tell you what so many of them do. They shift their attention to politics. Now, there are plenty of them who, for the sake of, being fair, they don't just get into it because they're pivoting. Some of them do feel like they have an actual purpose in joining politics. One such person right now is Spencer Pratt, who's just announced his candidacy for mayor. He is going to run against Karen Bass for the mayor of Los Angeles in the next couple of years. His biggest reason for doing so, of course, was he was caught in the Pacific Palisades fire that destroyed his home, and then found that there was absolutely zero accountability for anyone as this went on. I'm going to read you what he said at his announcement for this, because it's not just him. We've also got Michael Rappaport, who is running to become the mayor of New York City against Zoran Mamdani, I guess, in like 4 years.
There's a choice.
Yeah, right? Like in several years. So this is what Spencer Pratt said. He said, "The system in Los Angeles isn't struggling. It's fundamentally broken. It's a machine designed to protect the people at the top and the friends they exchange favors with, while the rest of us down in the toxic smoke and ash." I like that because it's like, you're still like, he's got like 800,000 followers on X. Like, he's not the rest of us, but he's the rest of us. But I'll be fair to him.
Well, he was talking about in this, like, oh, they only care about the people at the top.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
are you not the people at the top?
Yeah.
Okay, so he says, "Business as usual is a death sentence for Los Angeles, and I'm done waiting for someone to take real action. That's why I'm running for mayor, and let me be clear, this isn't just a campaign, it's a mission, and we're going to expose the system." That's like the most quintessential he's a registered Republican. I had to double check on that. I didn't know if he was party affiliated or if he would have to like primary somebody. But it's like, for all of them, it's always like, especially for Republicans now, it's like, we're going to fight the system, and just nothing ever changes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing ever changes.
The moment they use the words business as usual, that's just such a generic politician slogan. Like, you are business as usual most of the time. However, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I feel like this is really a statement on how heinously, abhorrently evil Democrats are. That I'm like, if I lived in California, I'd consider voting for him. Like, he's better than the alternative.
Well, even
like, how bad do you have to be to make Spencer Pratt seem like a better alternative?
Even in the last election there, Karen Bass was up against, Rick Caruso, and Hollywood was divided on which one of those they wanted to go to. The business-minded ones seemed to lean towards Rick Caruso, whereas the idealistic progressives seemed to, gravitate towards Karen Bass. Karen Bass absolutely won because, of course, it's California, which is like a Democrat stronghold. So even though Rick Caruso was a Democrat, he wasn't, if I remember correctly, somebody can correct me from the comments if I'm wrong, he wasn't progressive enough, basically. But now Spencer Pratt has posted this video where he's saying that he's received an advanced copy of the House Judiciary Committee's report on the Pacific Palisades fire aid, and they're finding what, of course, we know is true going on in Minnesota right now, and now they want to expose in California, which is, of course, massive amounts of fraud. $75 million of it has been lost. How do you lose $75 million? 100,000 of it went to voter participation. Remember, this was supposed to go for aid for people who lost their homes in the fire. 100,000 of it went to voter participation. $500,000 of it went to political advocacy groups. $100,000 of it went to podcasters. Where I didn't get my check, but
I'm still waiting on my $7,000 Israel check.
Man, it's never.
Where's my now? I'm supposed to be getting a fire check.
I want my $7,000 check from BB, and I want my fire check. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so $500,000 of it went to bonuses, salaries, and money for consultants, which is exactly why every rational person these days despises nonprofits and charity groups like this, because very oftentimes it's full of bloat. But it's not just Spencer Pratt who's going up against, a Democrat in a heavily Democrat-favored city like Los Angeles. You also have Michael Rappaport, who is, I guess he found out that after October 7th, it magically cured him of his TDS and turned him to be somebody who's like highly critical of the Democrats. And he's going to run against Zoran Mamdani, who's of course not, somebody that you'd exactly call a Zionist. But he hated Trump prior to October 7th. He says he didn't vote for Kamala. And at one point he withdrew his support for Biden. And of course, Rappaport is one of the rich Hollywood elites who would be hurt by Mamdani's fiscal policies, right? So he says, I, Michael Rappaport. Here, let me read this for you.
God.
It says, I, Michael Rappaport, will be running for mayor of New York City in 2029. The higher learning performer said, well, did he go to the Leering Center?
To the higher Leering.
The higher Leering Center. He said in a video post on Instagram on Monday, he says, you got Zoran the moron now. So he's trying to channel Trump, I guess, with his linguistics here. He says, you've got Zoran the moron now, but have no fear, Mayor Rappaport will be here, he says. Oh. Touting that he was born in the Big Apple, the 55-year-old Rappaport said, I will be running my campaign on the fact that nothing will be free. I kind of like that. It's like literally the opposite of free stuff. Yeah. Nothing will be free. I will do my best to make New York City affordable, but you will be getting nothing for free, he exclaimed. He's like really leaning into the Republicans. He's about to be like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Yeah. That's going to come right now. He says, I will do my best to make New York City affordable, but you will be getting nothing for free. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to bullshit you. I will do my best to make New York City safe, affordable, and thriving. Every single time I make a mistake, I will acknowledge it. I will apologize, and I won't do it with a shit-eating grin. He's a vocal supporter of Israel and has been critical of Mamdani. Last year, Mamdani's former state assembly member said that he wouldn't use the phrase globalize the intifada, but didn't fully denounce the expression. So that's where his dislike for Mamdani comes from.
I just don't trust these people who cycle through ideologies and cycle through different identities. It's like, this guy was the most TDS of the TDS, and now he's he just has con artist written all over him. The only thing interesting about this guy is he's on the new season of The Traitors, which I'm very excited for. It premieres tonight.
I saw you posting about that. Like, you have a friend in that show?
Yeah, I'm excited. Ian, he's going to kick ass.
Wait, is he in the show or did he work on the show?
What's that?
Did he work on it behind the scenes, or is he in the actual show?
No, he's on it. He was on Big Brother, and so they sort of get all the best people from different shows on this. Have you watched The Traitors?
No, it's a reality show?
Yeah, but it's a competition. It's like a murder mystery competition. It's so good. You would like it.
You're also a lifelong Survivor fan, right?
Yeah, just not the new season. We don't talk about the new seasons.
Do you watch the old ones? Do you rewatch the old seasons?
Yeah, I have. It's just depressing because it's fallen so far and gotten it's so soft now. Every episode is a different sob story. My father walked out on me. I was bullied in school. Like, shut up.
One time they have to have somebody on there who's like, both my parents loved me and I bullied kids in school.
Yes, that's what I would do if I was gonna go on.
Okay, so
I wasn't bullied.
I was upper middle class. I was upper middle class. My family had we weren't rich, but we had a house cleaner, somebody who came in, so I didn't have to do chores. And when kids annoyed me, I shoved them into lockers.
Exactly. If somebody tried to bully me, they tried once.
So it's not just these guys, though. Trisha Paytas says she is considering running for Congress in 2026. Let's face it, Congress is
She doesn't look like she can run down the street. She's going to run for Congress?
Congress is already ineffectual and doesn't get anything done anyways. I don't see how this would actually make it any worse. She told her followers she is weighing a 2026 congressional bid. Exactly. She says, I know it sounds so crazy to me too. She said in a new YouTube video, I really want to be able to truly make a difference because I see so much horrible stuff happening in the world. Well, that's why you get into politics, right? Because bad things are happening in the world and you want to be part of good person group, because if bad person group is doing things, you need to be part of good person group if you want to make changes in the world. That's how it works. She says, I know it sounds so crazy to me. In a TikTok uploaded later that day, she shared a bit more about her intentions regarding a potential congressional bid. In the post, the influencer said she is currently... She's Googling the process of running for Congress. Look, stop judging her. I mean, it could have been worse. She could have said, I'm grokking or I'm chat GPT.
Yeah.
I would have respected
That's what
that.
she means. She looks at the top AI section of Google, nothing below that.
She said she's currently Googling the process of running for Congress before sharing how the idea even crossed her radar. The idea of me being a representative for the state of California came to me in a dream. Well, that's, I think Candace Owens said something also came to her in a dream, so... We're all in.
Why does nobody come to me in a dream? I don't even get like the ghost of Christmas past coming to me in dreams.
Do you remember your dreams? I never remember my dreams.
You know what makes you remember your dreams and makes you have crazy whacked out dreams? So I've been quitting vaping and I've gotten like the patch and the nicotine mints and the Zyn and stuff. If you fall asleep with like a nicotine mint in your mouth and you leave the patch on, you will have like psychedelic dreams that you will remember every second of.
Well, I mean, or you end up where the case that I was in, which is when you're detoxing from opiates, then you have crazy ass dreams that that you're terrified of, and because you can't actually sleep, you wake up every 20 minutes having vivid dreams that are absolutely awful. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt and say that that's not what's happening. I don't think that's what's happening.
With her, I don't know. I feel like if you can't run on a treadmill, you probably shouldn't run for Congress.
So Paytas continued to share that after becoming a mother in 2022, she started to worry about watching the world just crumble little by little, and she was inspired to start taking action. Look, I actually think we should discourage the idea that taking action means running for office.
Mother.
She's a mother. She's a mom.
I thought she was a trans.
No.
No?
No.
Really?
I never thought of myself as a political person until I started having kids and realizing, like, the world could be just so disastrous and dystopian. I think you might be thinking of Kim Petras.
Oh, I thought they were both transes.
I was like, all right, Trish, enough of that. Just shutting it out, being ignorant. I think that we should start encouraging people that to do good in the world, you do good, you do right by your family. Like, actually, the more important thing is to be a good mom, and actually raising a good person does infinitely more good for the world than joining a system that's already so irrevocably broken that it's almost impossible to fix.
That's what Jordan Peterson used to write about, that would clean your room, that all these people want to tell people how to run the world and they can't run their own lives.
That's
which I guess he turned out to be one of those people.
Well, I mean, if she's got her kids and she's not in jail, we're going to set the bar extremely low here. You've got your kids, you're not in jail, they're well cared for, they're provided for.
They're not swinging on the pole.
Yeah. Then just do that. And leave running for office for the absolute leeches that are there, because I'd rather know who they are, because they're, first of all, Congress is ineffectual anyways and nothing ever gets done. Politics is a racket.
I'm so over it. My politics at the moment are just I hate everyone.
Well, how is it? So actually, that's a good question to ask. You know, all things considered. How have things changed for you? Because you got your start, you know. I mean, I'm assuming you got your start for the most part. Most people know you because of politics.
Yeah, which I've always found kind of ironic. Speaking of people who, you know, my room is a mess right now.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of people who can't run their own lives that are going to tell you how to run the world. Yeah, no, I kind of fell into it talking about politics. And the thing is now, I'm so over politics. Because I think when I've been doing it a long time, and I think when I first started it, which maybe this was naive, but it felt to me like back then it was a very small number of people who were speaking up, and it felt like the ones who were, for the most part, were truth tellers who felt so passionately that they had to speak up.
What time? Like,
nowadays,
what year?
It's
what year
quite
was that?
different.
What year was
like
that?
2018.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's actually something that we've talked about. Not necessarily in the vein of politics, but I actually think that that's true for people in the YouTube space or in the creator space It doesn't have to just be YouTube. I guess it can be any platform in which you build a solid platform on. There are the content creators who are there to make skits. There are the content creators who are there to make true crime. But I think one thing that brings them and the people who are into politics and everything together is that they have this innate need to say something. And they feel like if they don't say that thing, that they will damage themselves somehow. Like they have to say it. And I've actually made the point as a form of contrast that I've never in my life, other than through skating, which I do have that feeling about, but that's not even about sharing it. It's just about skating itself, because it's been part of my life for so long, for like 25 years. But I don't wake up every day. I love finding things to talk about. I love having these interesting discussions, but I don't know if I could say that I'm that person who feels like he needs to share his thoughts on it. I feel like my own approach to the world is like, who would care about hearing my opinion anyways?
That's how I feel too.
And I feel like that's actually, it's a healthy opinion to have if you don't expect to make a living in this space. Mm-hmm. But it's not a healthy opinion to have for yourself if you do want to do this for a living. You almost have to have a little bit of delusion. Like you have to have some delusions of grandeur until you sort of manifest it into reality.
That's the thing. That's sort of the catch-22 that I've been experiencing lately, is that when I started doing this, it really upended my entire life and sort of ended for a long time the path that I was on in speaking up conservative views. And so at the time it felt like I had to do it because I wasn't able to be fake and I wasn't able to just pretend to be liberal or keep it to myself. But nowadays, with the current landscape of things, it feels like that's the same thing that holds me back, is that it feels like the only people who are successful for the most part are full of shit, and you have to be fake and you have to be phony.
I feel like a lot of it is like the news cycle isn't even 24 hours anymore. It's an hourly news cycle. And you have to be the first. You can't risk being accurate because you have to be the first to a lot of it. And one of the things me and Mary talk about a lot of time on here is I use Logan Paul as an example. You have to be okay with people not liking you, and you have to be okay with being misunderstood. So like he posts videos all the time where he plays like his heel character that he's personifying in WWE. But he does that for everything. And is it who he is? That's up for debate. But he has to be okay if that is in fact not him, who's actually a husband and a father. I don't know if he's married yet, but he's definitely a father. Like, he has to be okay with being perceived a certain way by a large swath of the population. And weirdly enough, it's like they've taken the old concept, I don't know if you ever watched pro wrestling, the concept of kayfabe, which was like you didn't want to reveal the fact that it wasn't real to the audience because it broke audience immersion. Back in the day, the bad guys wouldn't be seen traveling with the good guys because it would have been considered sacrilege. Now you're almost in a 24/7 form of kayfabe if you want to be a certain type of creator where you can't let people know who you really are.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with a lot of actors that it used to be. We would see actors in movies playing their roles, and we didn't know all that much about them. The only time we would ever see them out of characters if they were on a late-night talk show or something.
Or an award show.
Yeah, now we can't get them out of our damn faces. We know their every opinion. We know every time they have a damn bowel movement. Like, I want to know less about people.
Well, and
we know too much about everyone.
It's actually the problem is they're caught between a rock and a hard place, and I'll give them some grace in this. There's basically rules now that if they want to get hired to do roles especially for the big budget studio movies, you have to have a following of a certain size. You can't be a nobody anymore and just step into some big role these days. There might be exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, they're looking at your social media following because before the movie's even shot, they're looking at how they're going to market it. Like, what good is what good is hiring you if we can hire somebody of average level skill who might be kind of close to as good as you, maybe not as good as you, but has a way bigger social media following.
Yeah, and it goes back to what it says, I think, because how often does that even really translate to movies, doing well? And I think there really is a hunger for just quality filmmaking, which there is definitely a deficit of at the moment.
Yep. All right, guys. So what would you like to see, one or would you like to see two cute of the days? We can do one or we can do two today. When Mary's not here, I do not do cringe. She does when I was gone, she was like, no cute of the days. So to make up for that, guys, we will do two cute of the days today. How about that? All right.
Yeah, why do one when you could do two?
So here's
two.
Here's the first one. This is from Duck Biden. I wonder what that was supposed to mean. This is Toe Beans taking a very relaxed midday nap. I got this one just today. That cat is living its best life. I wish that could be me right now.
Oh.
Do you have pets?
I live with my friends who have like 6 or 7 pets.
Okay.
We got a dog. We got a bunch of cats. Yeah, I was never a cat person until recently.
Do the cats and the dogs live together in harmony?
Yeah, the dog, she's like a big old lady.
Okay. And there's another one of Toe Beans. I don't know how I feel about the name Toe Beans, but Toe Beans probably loves it. All right.
Toe Beans.
Let's do one more. Okay, this one's from Cookie. Aww.
Oh my god.
It's so tiny.
Oh, I gotta send you. I wish I had it on here. I have a picture of my friend's cat.
Send it.
Just sitting on the couch like thug life.
Send it. We will put it on. We've got time. We can put it on.
I'll
Go
try
ahead.
to find it.
See if you can find it. All right. Actually, you know what we'll do? Find it. We'll show it at the end of the show today. That's what we'll do.
Cliffhanger.
All right, guys. Let's move on. There's all sorts of stuff to still talk about today. So, okay. Here's the thing. For as long as YouTube and YouTubers have been reporting on Star Wars since the purchase by Disney, it seems like people have been speaking endlessly the entire time about the inevitable removal of Kathleen Kennedy. So much so that I don't know if anybody anymore actually believes that Kathleen Kennedy is going to go anywhere. I think most people feel like this reign of terror will end up going on forever and that you're not actually going to see her leave the company. Now, there are some things on the horizon for Star Wars that are, at least in my opinion, a little bit more to be hopeful for than anything we've seen in the past several years. Number one, of course, being Star Wars Starfighter starring Ryan Gosling, which I do think has some promise to it. But this is a report from Cosmic Book News, which gets it from Puck News, saying that Dave Filoni is officially taking over as Star Wars Lucasfilm president. It says, via Puck News, Disney is reportedly set to confirm that longtime Star Wars creative Dave Filoni will take over Lucasfilm as Kathleen Kennedy steps down from her role as president. This is a quote. In the next week or two, Disney will finally confirm that what we've all known for months. Kathleen Kennedy is indeed stepping down as Lucasfilm president, and Dave Filoni, current chief creative officer of the Star Wars unit, will be elevated to the top job. Filoni will be joined by Lin-Wen Brennan, who will handle the business side of the company, while Filoni takes the lead on creative decisions across the film and television and other Star Wars media. Seems kind of in the same vein as James Gunn being the head of DC, whereas you've got other people in charge, Pam Abdy and Mike DeLuca in charge over there for for Warner Brothers Studios. It's hard to look at, sometimes you don't imagine thinking of many creatives as also being executives. It's not the same skill set, and oftentimes you have to find a creative and somebody that's business minded, and they have to have a good rapport, and they have to be able to work together to find the best path forward. It says Filoni has long been seen as the natural successor to Kennedy, currently serves as Lucasfilm's chief creative officer, and is best known for his work in Clone Wars, Rebels, The Mandalorian, and Ahsoka. Well, actually, that's the funny thing about it. So from everything that I've seen recently, I saw a couple of people point out, they said, look to see all of the YouTubers start to pivot and criticize Dave Filoni because, what they've been screaming for years is we need to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. And now that she's gone, if they want to continue to monetize their hatred of Star Wars, they're going to have to start to pivot and criticize Dave Filoni. That's obviously not true because people have been criticizing Dave Filoni for a long time now, mainly because of the way that Boba Fett went and the way that his co-signing of The Acolyte and the fall off in quality of The Mandalorian. So I actually don't know if what we're looking at right now is the idea that they're going to actually end up being critical of him because it makes them more money. I think they're going to continue to be critical of him because they've already seen that it makes them money. So it says, Filoni, who has long been seen... fans have credited him with restoring the spirit of Lucasfilm's vision, of George Lucas's vision for Star Wars, and his elevation has been expected for months, especially after a series of creative missteps under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership. While Filoni isn't considered a traditional executive, Disney will pair him with Brennan, the current president and general manager of Lucasfilm Business, to balance out the creative and operational aspects of the company. So this was announced last February that Kennedy's exit comes after the more than a decade leading Lucasfilm, a tenure that saw both the highs of The Force Awakens, which made like billions and billions of dollars, but was obviously something people were critical of, despite the fact that the movie made as much money that it did. It was basically a diminishing returns with each new film that came out. Obviously, Rian Johnson ended up causing them a ton of problems, lost them a lot of goodwill from the fans. So it says, excuse me, especially after underwhelming recent theatrical efforts and streaming fatigue, giving Filoni creative control would signal a return to basics and to quality. What's going on?
Sorry, my internet went out.
No worries, man. All good. I'm just sitting here kind of roasting the path of Star Wars. This is what happens. So is this the type of thing where, like, because you're writing a script right now, right? You're writing your own movie script?
Yeah, I am. I'm excited for it.
So is this the type of thing where, like, do you have many like thoughts on like the business side? Because you have to, just by writing a script means that you have to interact with the business side.
Wait, sorry. Give me 1 sec. I have to switch over.
So because you're writing a script right now, you are automatically somebody who has to worry about what's going on with the business side of the industry. Because if you're writing a script, you're somebody that is going to have to write the script and then try to potentially sell that script to somebody else. I'll keep going while we get that figured out. It says, Filoni's takeover with the upcoming release of Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian and Grogu. Okay, so first thing about Mandalorian and Grogu, guys. So we did a list earlier this week. Basically about what movies are a sure thing in Hollywood. You good?
Sorry about that. It's fixed now.
Okay.
Random outages.
That's okay. So tell me about it. Like, do you have thoughts on the business side of the industry, given the fact that you're working on your own script and you want to work, quasi in the industry?
Like I said, I really think that we're going to see, because everything has just become so awful in mainstream film over the past decade, and it's only going to get worse with AI and stuff. And this is sort of what I was saying about people looking for all of this meaning in Stranger Things, is I think what's next is there really is going to be a renaissance of independent, dissident art. At least I hope. And I think this is just emblematic of how horrible everything has become in the mainstream. I mean, even if I think Kathleen Kennedy destroyed Star Wars so badly, it's irreparable. I mean, I don't even know how you could go about fixing it at this point. Well, also, I'll believe it when I see it. I think this is something that happens every so often. What's up?
We got 20 here. Just we'll read this one really quick. It says, this is from Pop Culture Junkie. He was a Hollywood insider for years and years and years. He worked in the industry. He's always got sources. This is what he says. I have two reliable sources that confirm the Kennedy exit. Disney is just trying to put together the PR part of the changing of the guard in terms of timing and media. A bit of ding dong, the witch is dead on the lot. So, yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it. I feel like this happens every so often, that they pull Kathleen Kennedy out of her hole and say she's leaving, and then she isn't, and they're like, 12 more weeks of winter.
Okay, so tell me what you think. So you said you think that there's going to be a rise of dissident art that kind of challenges Hollywood. What's that going to look like?
I think so. I think people are basically going to stop asking permission and just start making things themselves. And hopefully that'll take people who want to see things like that, funding art like that. I mean, I hope.
I mean, but that's like, so where do you see that then? Are we talking YouTube? Are we talking Rumble? Are we talking like on their own websites that they start?
It could be anywhere. Maybe new independent streamers that'll pop up. I mean, it sounds like the last thing we need is another streaming service, but especially with all of these companies consolidating, it's just going to get worse and worse. And so I think things are inevitably going to get so bad that eventually they'll have to get better. It'll sort of be the same thing that's happened with news media, where, all of these alternatives popped up
where it gives way to people that actually kind of build within an audience rather than people that were part of the big 3 or big 4 news stations.
Yeah, I think so. Because even like you look at even what are considered to be the best movies of any given year lately wouldn't have been a top 50 movie of any year in the 90s, 80s, 2000s even.
When it was over the holidays, we rewatched Miracle on 34th Street, and I just watching the city of New York shot on film at night, and I'm just like, bro, like I'm seeing actual shadows. I haven't seen a shadow in a movie in like 20 years because of HD and digital, right? Like
I miss cinematography.
And in that movie, the cinematographer did this amazing thing where he lit every actor directly from above with like a bright orange and white light to give them like this halo effect. And you wouldn't even notice, like I didn't notice it until I read about it. And then when I looked at it back as I was watching it, it was like amazing. I was like watching it all kind of come together. And I'm like, I would love to see that in the, like in more stuff today. I would just like to see stuff be lit better.
Yeah, we were watching the Home Alone movies, the first 2, the only ones that matter.
Home Alone movies. Nope. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you're a Home Alone 3 apologist.
I'm not a Home Alone 3 apologist, my friend. I am a Home Alone 3 defender, okay?
Oh,
wasn't that
it's
bad.
okay. We all have flaws.
If people don't know my story for that, basically, when I was young, where we grew up in Minnesota, we had what was called the Cinema Cafe, which was like, it was a small theater. There was like 3 or 4 screens, and you didn't sit in like, because back then they didn't even have the reclining chairs. Reclining chairs were like, a concept of the future. You sat at an actual table and you ordered actual food that was brought to you by like a waiter. So I had money that I got from my Christmas cards, and I went and saw Home Alone 3 more than one time and ordered pizza, like each time. And just the novelty of eating pizza while watching Home Alone was enough to make me love it.
That's pretty amazing.
I will not apologize.
However, to me, Home Alone movies are like the same as the number of genders. Only 2. Everything else does not exist.
So but you are correct about the cinematography in those movies.
It's so beautiful
as well.
that you don't. That's the thing, is that cinematography, we took it for granted for so long because it wasn't something you thought about. It's just something that felt lived in, that you could experience. But now you notice all these things because they're lacking in movies nowadays. That you notice the use of red and green in the backgrounds and the cinematography.
My problem is so they use the same complementary color palette for everything these days. Everything is blue and yellow or blue and orange.
I hate it.
And that I have a bug about it, that I love old school Canadian television because for some reason it was like the same producers. It was like Pillar and Sagan. That was like these 2 producers in Canada that produced a lot of these popular shows that were like boomer-esque in the mid 2010s. Even some sci-fi shows like Haven, which I really, really liked. They all these Canadian shows used this very unique green and yellow color palette that I'd never seen used in an American show, and it immediately set them apart. One of the things that sucked, beyond the story just sucking really bad for the most recent Matrix movie, which was awful, was that they got rid of that dirt, grime, green color hue that made the Matrix popular and introduced a orange and blue color palette that made it look like just like every other movie that came out that year.
Oh, I hate it so much. I did the same thing. I was just rewatching Eyes Wide Shut. Oh my God, the most beautiful cinematography. Have you seen that?
A very long time ago.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's kind of depressing though, watching all of these older movies now, that you see everything that's lacking in modern movies.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching a couple of episodes of this podcast on color theory, like breaking down. Apparently Christopher Nolan is colorblind, which is why he leans into using the blue hues that he does, that his eyes can pick up the blue. And he mixes that with the orange, and it works for him because he shoots, his I think the Odyssey is going to be all on IMAX.
I don't know about this movie.
Yeah, you don't want to go see it?
I mean, I will out of curiosity, but I don't know. Elliot Page is in it, and
I'm gonna give some hope for Star Wars fans a little bit here at the bottom. Okay, so Mandalorian and Grogu. This is the point that I was trying to make earlier, which is that for Mandalorian and Grogu, it's already off to a bad start because it's not even in the sure thing category from sites like Variety. It's in like the safe bet category. Because let's face it, the character was successful on streaming. That does not mean that you're going to draw people to the box office to watch your movie. And even if you want to lie and pretend like Pedro Pascal is some sort of box office draw, which I would contend he is not, even if he is a halfway decent actor, that doesn't mean that this is going to sell in the theaters. And I guess the novelty of Grogu has since worn off.
I will never understand how this woman has been allowed to take one of the most iconic brands of all time and run it into the ground. I mean, does Kathleen Kennedy have like nudie pictures of everyone?
I think she does.
I don't understand. I don't understand how this woman has so much power.
I think she's got her own blackmail material.
She must. It's the only explanation. I was rewatching the prequels, and you know, obviously they're flawed in many ways, but I think the Disney Star Wars has really made people appreciate it much more than we did before. Like, even when they're flawed, even the things about them that you might have issues with, they are unquestionably still such a work of genius. The world building to them and the intricacy of it. There's nothing in any of these new movies that elicits any sort of wonder or genius.
So maybe the niche conspiracy should be that what George Lucas actually did was he's like, look, I'm stepping down. I'm selling to Disney, and Kathleen Kennedy wanted to be named head of Lucasfilm, and he's like, I will only help make that happen if you make movies that are so bad that people start to like my prequels.
Please, at this point, I'll take his off-brand movies. I'll take Howard the Duck. Yeah. I'll take Strange Magic. I'll take any of it over this Disney Star Wars.
But I've buried the lead. I do have a bit of hope for you. So I do think that Star Wars Starfighter has some promise to it. I think Ryan Gosling has a lot of charisma. I think giving Ryan Gosling a role in Star Wars is interesting enough to put an actor of his caliber there. Sean Levy being at the helm. Sean Levy, of course, being responsible for a lot of what we're seeing in Hollywood these days. He did Deadpool and Wolverine. He was involved with Stranger Things. He's also tapped. So the writer is a guy named Jonathan, I think it's Tropper or Tropper. This is a guy who did The Adam Project, which was a very cute movie from Netflix in 2022. He worked with Sean Levy on that, but he was also the creator and head writer for both Banshee, which is one of the best shows that you will ever watch on HBO. If you want to see gory, hypersexualized pulp, that is the place to go. The show is really, really good. And he also did Warrior over there, which a lot of people also consider to be a sleeper hit. Now, those genre-wise are very, very different from Star Wars, but the guy is not a pushover. He's somebody with some pedigree to his name. This isn't the lady that they hired to do that one Rogue Squadron movie, or the one Daisy Ridley movie, where, you know, the Rey movie that ended up not, you know, nobody knows what's going on. This isn't that lady.
It's with the Rian Johnson trilogy.
Yeah, and this is not Rian Johnson, who should be sticking to his murder mysteries. This is a guy with some pedigree to his name. So I'm just trying to offer a little bit of hope to the Star Wars fans. You might, perhaps, maybe this guy will give you something to like. Because again, I think Sean Levy's good. I don't hate Sean Levy.
For me at least, I don't know if other people feel the same way, but for me, Disney Star Wars is just, it's irreparable to me. Like, I just have no interest in ever seeing anything from this again. I think the only way would be to maybe just retcon but even then you can't just retcon the sequels, because Carrie Fisher passed away. Harrison Ford is 107, probably has no interest.
Yeah, there was.
So we can never get back any sort of actual sequel to these movies.
Luckily, Harrison Ford is like the ultimate capitalist. Like, he'll do it if you pay him enough
true.
money. He will do it if you pay him enough money.
Yeah, but look what they turned Indiana Jones into.
I know. I'm not saying it would be good. I'm saying I think you could do it. I think you could drag him out there if they. And there was like that quote recently from like Mark Hamill, basically saying that what did he say, that J.J. Abrams didn't opted against the everybody reuniting because it wasn't Luke Skywalker's story, so he didn't bring back Han, Luke, and Leia because it was Rey's story, and that pissed a lot of people off.
I don't first of all, I will never, as long as I live, understand how, with all the money involved and all the people involved, nobody thought, hey, let's maybe sit down and know where this is going, have some sort of arc.
Not having
story.
not having a plan is crazy work. For like
don't understand how that
knowing
happens.
that you're gonna make 3 and not having like an overarching plan where you just bring in Rian Johnson to make something completely different is crazy work.
Even just like, you know, I mentioned the film that I'm working on, like, I know how it ends immediately before it begins. Like, I don't understand how other people don't do that.
Crazy how that works, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So I will say, actually, before we move on, I will ask, so you don't think that Star Wars can be saved? I think with enough time, what I've learned from Star Wars fans is like when they got the Vader cameo, like they want to love it. Like they want to love it. And I think they would be, it'll take some time. You'll have to rebuild trust with the audience, but I think the desire is there. The desire from the fans is there to want to love it again.
Maybe I just personally feel like you can't solve a problem without understanding a problem, and everything I've seen, it seems like they are delusional and don't understand that there's been any issue at all. Like the Rise of Skywalker alone, as bad as The Last Jedi was, I feel like the Rise of Skywalker is even worse. The Rise of Skywalker is like the Joe Biden of movies.
Think that it would have been
like
better
stitched together, zombie corpse.
So you think it would have been better to like stick to the like even though everybody hated it, like commit to the bit and commit to Rian Johnson's vision?
It would have been better to not make that. I don't know. It would have been better. I feel like their problem started so much sooner. I don't know, man. Like I wouldn't even know where to go with it at this point.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. We've got more stuff to get into today. So this was a report that I found on Breitbart. There have been multiple discussions lately. It was a very, very big thing a couple of months ago where it felt a bit astroturfed in a way, where everybody on X was talking about LGBTQ content for kids on Netflix, and it kind of coincided with Elon Musk talking about X becoming a streaming service. It felt to me a bit astroturfed in a way, how all of these influencers were suddenly talking about LGBTQ content on Netflix, despite the fact that many of those shows like Dead End, Paranormal Park had been out for 3-4 years. Suddenly all these posts were going viral, but it's continuing now months later. A new report says 41% of Netflix shows for children contain LGBTQ content in the year 2025. A massive amount of streaming and TV shows aimed at small children contain sexualized LGBTQ content, despite efforts to create a more detailed rating system to help parents navigate streaming content. For instance, 41% of shows that are supposed to be G-rated for kids on Netflix still had blatant LGBTQ content, including transgenderism, according to a year-end report by an activist group called Concerned Women for America. They should call themselves Karens for America.
I was just gonna say that.
Well, we've been talking like, did you see the post going around the other day?
I told you women are a pain in the ass.
Did you see the post going around the other day that was like, because Mary is ardent. She says, you need Karens in society. And the post was like, everybody hates Karens until your flight is delayed, and then the Karen gets everybody a $200 voucher by bitching.
That's kind of a good point.
That's, so it says the group has also found that 21% of shows in the TVY category, which is meant to cover kids up to 7 years, also had LGBTQ plus content, and the numbers only get worse for older kids. In the TVY7, covering ages 7 and above, the content soars to 41%. Overall, across all child-related categories, which is TVG, Y, and Y7, 33% contain such content. The group also rated how extreme the content is as well, rating it from meta to implied to queer-coded, to explicit, and found that 24% of TVY7 rated programs had explicit gay sexual content, which included outright declarations of homosexuality and transgenderism and sexual behavior.
This is what did it say? 44%, something like that. Keep in mind, this is something that's like 2 or 3% of the population.
So,
and then they bitch about representation.
So, what are your thoughts on it? Like you have to this has to be a topic that comes up a certain amount, right?
Yeah.
Like I am sure people have at least grilled you on your perspective on this, right?
Oh, this makes me feel like I'm about ready for the apocalypse. I'm about ready for the flood. Just just bring Noah in, send us off on the ark where we can be away from this mess.
How old are you?
How dare you, Brett?
I asked, man. I
Hate
asked.
speech.
I am not afraid to ask. How?
That is hate speech.
Okay,
you know what?
you can give me.
When I have a ring on it and I'm
me
married and not single, I will tell people my age.
Okay. The only reason I'm asking, not to be rude, because look, I tell everyone I'm 39 years old, and I said it before
you're married.
I said it before I had the ring put on. So the point is, did content like this permeate when you were younger?
No, God, no. It was unheard of.
Do you think it would have affected you?
What's that?
Do you think it would have affected you?
Maybe it would have made me not want to be gay. Be like, I don't want to be like these people. No, I remember when I found out what that was. That I was watching The Nanny with my parents. I was maybe like, I don't know, 7 or something.
Like we're talking like, what's her name? Fran Drescher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Best show ever, by the way. And there was an episode where this woman was gay. And I asked my parents, what's that? And they were just like, some men like men, some women like women, and that is of absolutely no concern to you until you're older.
Yeah.
And that's really all it needs to be. If there's any explanation at all to kids, if they ask questions, that's all it needs to be. The thing is, it is not this lie that we're sold of representation. That's not what's happening. These kids are being indoctrinated. They are being brainwashed. They are being put on a path of gender confusion, of medicalization, and it's sick. And I really hope that we've turned a corner enough for people to not be fearful and just stand up and say, this is sick.
So what do you think will be the chief difference between kids who are raised with the content and somebody else like you who, is gay but did not grow up watching this content?
I think we're seeing what the result is how many minors now are reporting gender confusion. Thankfully, I think we're turning a corner and that number is going down.
I did see some reports that were saying like it does seem like people are finally starting to realize that especially certain aspects of trans ideology are proving to be like a basically a fad.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's so sick. And then you see the stuff that's being put in kids' libraries in school where they won't show it on news conferences. They won't show it at school board meetings because it's too inappropriate, but it's perfectly fine for little kids to see in school. It is so sick. And like I said, when 3-4% of the population at most is being represented with 44% of kids' content, something is not kosher here.
We got a $20 super chat here from Pop Culture Junkie. Thank you. He says, Brett, the color grading, color palette slop is the result of copycat directors and producers with a case of you can make it look like ism. That's what he's calling it. You can look. Hold I have settled on that one still being my favorite of all time. It's the easiest to dance to. It's the easiest one of them to dance to.
Trump
We're good.
Dance.
Thank you for dancing, my friend. Thank you.
Of course, always.
So this was his 20. He says, Brett, the color grading, color palette slop is the result of copycat directors and producers with a case of, quote, you can make it look like ism. It says the ease of raw file color grading has made it worse. Yeah. So the difference was when they were shooting on film, you had to light, right? And then you didn't just have a grayscale raw file that you could basically manipulate to look like anything that you wanted.
And apparently they're lighting things in an intentionally generic way.
Oh,
it's the
work.
I hate this so much. I hate it.
It's so flat. It's like it's blue and gray, and there's no So I love the show Reacher. I think the show is fantastic. I like Alan Ritchson in the role, even if he's a weirdo. Whatever, fine. Okay, but
we separate
some of the shots. The same is true of Paradise, but Paradise, it was a show that Hulu released last year with Sterling K. Brown. I will give it a pass a little bit because the show's themes kind of help embody it, but it's just fucking gray. It's just gray and gross, and everything feels that way now. Like somebody just took gray and blue and just slapped it on a canvas, and you can't see anything because they don't light it well enough.
It's shocking to me that this is what's being put out there
Okay.
with millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars.
So, okay, so we've ranted. We're gonna roll it back here now, ladies and gentlemen, to the discussion that we were having. Like I said, I did see some things saying that basically they do think that aspects of it are like kind of passing right now, and that Hollywood in some ways is getting away from this type of niche storytelling. But I don't think that you're ever going to truly get rid of it, even with children's entertainment, because streaming has such a high demand for content that they're always going to embrace these types of stories, no matter whether you find it appropriate for children or not. I don't think that it's going anywhere. And I think in general, the success of the shows when they were aimed towards adults, I mean, what is it? Will and Grace was extremely popular back at a time when Hollywood itself would have told you that America wasn't supportive of gay rights.
Mm-hmm. I hate it so much. And the thing is, it's not, they have this whole lie about, oh, it's just, gay people exist, trans people exist, and it's just telling kids they exist. Bullshit. It is a nefarious agenda that is being pushed on kids to put them on. It's to get them indoctrinated into a cult and keep them into it for the rest of their lives, especially once they're put on the path of gender confusion, once they are medicalized. There's no getting out of this once they really get their hooks in these kids.
And Hollywood,
and then they'll lie and tell you that all of these hormones and puberty blockers are reversible. They're not. And the thing is, too, I'm glad that I feel like, because the thing is, all of my friends who have kids have been affected by this in their kids' schools. The teachers telling their kids, oh, maybe you were born in the wrong body. And it is madness.
I feel
like if this were maybe like 10 years ago, and you would have asked me if I had kids then, if you would have asked me, like, if I had a son and he wanted to wear a dress, I would have been like, oh, yeah, you do you. Express yourself. Great. If you asked me that today, if I had kids, over my dead body, because that is not a thought that's coming into his head organically. That is an agenda that is being pushed. That is brainwashing that's taking place. And no way in hell is this cult going to get their hooks in them.
And Hollywood has done it successfully with other things in the past. So if you want to look at public opinion on things like abortion, that changed drastically because of Hollywood's portrayal of abortion rights. The same has also been true. If you want to take a positive example of that, the rate of people smoking dropped in America because Hollywood started to demonize smoking and not show characters doing it a lot of times because they would have to report it in the rating systems. Like, it might affect your rating for an episode of TV if you show, because you have to show drug use, and it would qualify as drug use for things like that.
I can't stand even, taking the kids entertainment out of the equation. I can't stand most of this. I mean, we're talking about Stranger Things. I can't stand most of these gay things in adults media. And the thing that I think people don't realize is that there's, the Gay Defamation League, GLAAD. They actually have a representative in the writer's room of every TV show that has a gay character. That's why when you see stuff like the Will Byers speech, that was written in conjunction with GLAAD. They have their GLAAD representative approving it. And that's why we get this stuff. So even when it's stuff for adult and they shove these gay characters in, or it's not a story. It's not a character. It's not telling anything that's authentic in any way. It's not like, it used to be if there was a movie or a show with gay characters, they were just characters in a great story. Something like The Birdcage, for example, which I love. But this, like, you couldn't put, if I wouldn't want to watch this if there were a gun to my head. Or now something that's really popular is Heated Rivalry.
Yeah.
It's porn. It's just porn.
I have seen some Instagram skits about they're making they're basically doing like Heated Rivalry spin-offs and making it like WNBA Heated Rivalry.
Oh my god.
it's not appropriate for children, but that's what it is. The other thing is,
I haven't watched it, but it looks like it's just porn.
I mean, that's how it feels like for most of the. But the thing is, like, back in the day, they're just taking advantage of the access they have now to streaming services that act the same way HBO did back in the day, where you could show more when it wasn't on traditional television. But okay, so I actually believe that Hollywood mastered, like, if Hollywood was looking to change public perception on how people felt about gay individuals or anything like that, the formula they used for like the prior 15 years prior to 2020, and I'm talking going back to the early 2000s, was not to show a character who was inherently bigoted and was so stupid that people were like, oh, that guy's stupid. No, the best thing you could do was to take characters that everybody liked and show them as being accepting of gay friends and gay coworkers and all of those things. And that was how they shifted public perception on it. But it wasn't until after, now it started earlier than Trump's inauguration. That sort of ideological rot in the storytelling was already there, their inability to write it in a way that wasn't ham-fisted, but it became much more commonplace post 2016. And I think that actually has a lot to do, one, with people being so tied to the message because it affects them personally that they can't get away from it. I feel the same way with how Hollywood is writing AI now. They don't know how to write clever AI stories because they're terrified of what's coming from it. So people who maybe were gay were now writing stories about gay characters and didn't have enough distance from the material to make it accessible to everybody. But they don't know how to do it in a way that they did prior when they had the networks kind of holding the reins and telling them what they could and could not write.
Yeah, and that's still the case. I mean, also, I don't know what planet these people live on that they think, oh, they need to change people's attitudes about gay. Nobody gives a shit if you're gay. This is something that I never encounter in my life. And you would think, meanwhile, that we're living in like the 1950s in terms of people's attitude about sexual orientation. And they do that because it is a very lucrative business model to them. They need to pretend like everyone hates gay people and we need to force feed everyone gay shit, or otherwise they would be out of business.
Yep.
Did you ever see The Birdcage?
No.
Oh my God, you have to. It is the greatest movie. And it's like, so Robin Williams and Nathan Lane are a gay couple, but what made it interesting, and so their son is getting married to the daughter of this conservative politician's congressman. But what makes it so interesting is that, I don't think this is really a spoiler, but you ultimately find out that Nathan Lane, the drag queen husband, ends up having the same conservative family values as the politician, which is what makes it interesting. They would never allow that now. It would just be demonizing the other people.
Yeah, it works better and also that actually fits into something that Hollywood has always loved to do, but now they don't even know how to do it in a way that isn't so predictable anymore, which is to subvert expectations. They always talk about wanting to subvert expectations, so that is one way in which they do it.
Well, and the thing is, too, like I said, that people may not realize that GLAAD, we see what they want us to see. There's a reason that any gay characters think it's always the same old shit because they approve everything. You know, years ago, before I was doing this sort of stuff, I'd written a series that we were very far in developing and pitching to people. They shut it down. They wrote me a letter and were like, we will fight you every step of the way in making this. Because it wasn't the narrative. It was basically about like the conformity and the bullshit of the alphabet people.
Oh no, okay, you got to give us some more details about that. I need to hear more about this.
Yeah, we were meeting with a bunch of
so this was a script you were working on?
Yeah, it was a series.
Okay, so what was the give me like a synopsis of the script? Like
so there's a former punk rocker, a gay guy, who him being a former punk rocker was sort of a symbol of him, of conformity and such, wanting to find love and then having to date amongst the alphabet people.
Okay. And so what was the problem they had with it?
That it was homophobic. They said I was self-hating.
They like wrote you a letter?
And the thing is too, is like, it wasn't a political show. It wasn't meant to be one-sided in any way. The main character in many instances was meant to be kind of hypocritical and brash and stuff, but they don't like that. So, which I have a feeling that once, now that I'm in the process of working on this film I'm doing, they're gonna throw a shit fit, I know. But
it also it seems to disincentivize people wanting to write good gay characters because they feel like they're going to be kind of somebody's going to be looking over their shoulder the whole way to tell them whether their character was written to their standards. So what incentive is there to put the character in there if it's just going to cause a bunch of headaches?
Yeah, no, they are. And so I know that, but that's why I think, and I hope that things have changed enough that people are able to just make things independently now, which is what I'm hopefully trying to do. But no, this film I'm working on, it's a romantic slasher. It happens to be two gay characters, but the thing is that like that word is never even mentioned in the script because it has nothing. It's not about that. It's about love and death, and it's sort of a commentary.
And the bad guy is not a metaphor for homophobia.
No, the bad guy is a metaphor for the fucking gay culture. Okay. And so it's basically about love versus hookup culture, and the only way out of the slasher element is sort of a rejection of that, metaphorically.
Okay, hell yeah.
So they're gonna throw a shit fit, but I don't care.
All right, let's move on. So that was interesting, but let's talk about something that's not just interesting. This is depressing. If you saw my story, or sorry, no, it wasn't a story. If you saw my post on X earlier, I had to see this. Therefore, now you guys have to see this. This was from a show, if you guys remember back in the day, My Strange Addiction. This is a woman who says, "I snort all of my food, from omelets to steak. It feels phenomenal, even if I'm at risk of getting infections."
Even if I'm at risk of getting infections.
She's like,
okay. I think if you are ever uttering the phrase, even if I'm at risk of getting infections, you have taken a wrong turn in life.
I think this is how HIV started. This is the problem.
It started by Will Byers did this in the 80s.
Oh my god. So that's what we're going to find out. It wasn't Magic Johnson. It was actually Will Byers who started it. That's a problem.
I was hoping in that scene somebody was going to say, well, enjoy AIDS.
What if Magic Johnson had appeared to give like a public service announcement?
That's all that it was missing.
I remember that. I don't remember what VHS I owned, but at one point I owned like, it was maybe Wayne's World or some other movie, and there was like a Magic Johnson AIDS like PSA at the beginning of the movie. He's in like all I remember is he's in like a wood paneled room and he's giving a PSA about AIDS.
I remember that.
Yes.
You remember Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue?
Yes.
I used to have the tape. I guess now I'm answering how old I am.
There you go. So it says, you wouldn't believe it till you saw it. This woman's name is Catherine, by the way. The Virginia millennial blends her food, so she puts it in a blender and then snorts it through a straw. She showed off this freaky feeding frenzy on Wednesday's season 7 premiere of My Strange Addiction. I do actually have, I'm not going to play the full clip, but you can see it here if you were wondering what it looks like.
That's her?
This is hold on.
I have had bloody noses about once.
Okay.
Oh. She's not, I mean, not like she's, she's no string bean, but like she's not as unfortunate looking as I thought she would be. How did she gain the weight from snorting food? Do you think you gain the same amount of weight?
Maybe it hits differently when it goes straight to the brain stem. She says it started as a dare to try and snort a flavored fruit drink. See, this is the problem. I blamed the DARE program earlier because somebody correctly pointed out in the comments, nobody would have even thought to snort pixie sticks if it wasn't for the DARE program. Maybe this lady,
oh my God.
She says that means she's sniffing blended omelets with spinach and mushrooms, liquefied spinach and steak, coffee, and even spicy guacamole. Okay. She spent much of Wednesday's episode fretting over how to introduce her odd obsession. This is the best part. It's affecting her.
I'm making the Brett face.
It's affecting her love life. This is the problem.
I would hope so.
She's having a hard time finding a suitable mate. I honestly feel like if she was trying to meet somebody and was just like snorting lines of heroin, she would be better off than this.
Then she could at least get a date at the crack house.
She says she spent much of Wednesday's episode fretting over how to introduce her odd obsession to her new beau. And spoiler alert, it didn't go well. Catherine had gone on several dates with Justin. Well, it wasn't a dinner date, that is for sure. There's no way it started out as a dinner date.
Even the Waffle House ain't having none of this shit.
No. I mean, they might have gone for coffee, but I don't know if... does she drink the coffee or does she snort
the coffee?
Like, the image I see here looks like she's snorting a coffee. Okay? So it says, I'm returning to the story. Guys, I'm not making this up. If I have to learn about this, you guys have to learn about this.
We had to see it, so do you.
Catherine has gone on several dates with Justin before meeting him at the District Biscuit Company in Alexandria, Virginia. He presented her with a bouquet. Yeah, I know. It's a hard name to say. He presented her with a bouquet of colorful flowers. She presented her problem almost immediately. She goes, "Are you going to be able to blend the food?" she asked the server after she sat down.
Can you imagine you go on a date with someone and they're like, "Excuse me, can you blend the food?"
No.
He ain't going to go anywhere near her district biscuit.
No, he's you know what it is? He's holding on for dear life. He's like, oh, maybe she just had jaw surgery. Maybe she can't chew. Maybe that's what's going on here. And let's face it, that actually is more plausible to this guy than him being like, well, she's obviously going to snort the omelet. She's gonna get biscuits and gravy and then snort them.
Can't you? Maybe this is like a third date activity. Like maybe
that's what it is. She says they've been on a couple of dates before. So
that's so much worse.
See, I think that's worse. I think she should have introduced this at the beginning. She has now wasted 2 dates of this man's life.
Oh,
so she asked the server, "Are you able to blend the food?" And the server responded, "Unfortunately, we do not have a blender, but we do have grits, tomato soup, and our in-house vegetarian sausage gravy."
Bring me a straw.
She selected the grits because she was assured that it could fit through a straw. Justin chose a homemade biscuit with jam.
How would they even know that? She was assured it could fit through a straw. Like they're in the back testing it out.
Was the guy just like, look, I'll be right back. Like this guy wants his tip, right? This guy is
like big straws.
This waiter is the ultimate libertarian. He doesn't care what you do in the privacy of your own home as long as he gets his tip. And he's probably
Libertarians
like,
must be stopped.
The guy's like, look, no tax on tips. I bet you this lady tips well. There's no way you're this weird and a shitty tipper.
You know she's probably a pervert too.
So
there's no way that you're doing this and aren't into some other weird shit. People are into some weird shit.
She selected the grits because she was assured they could fit through a straw. Justin chose the homemade biscuit with jam. The food arrived and Catherine took her blue and silver manicured hands and pressed the straw inside her right nostril to suck up.
That was the dead giveaway, the blue and silver manicure.
To suck up the coffee through her nostril. Catherine, what the fuck are you doing? He asked with concern as others in the diner snickered at her.
She didn't give an explanation first?
She goes, at this point in time, I don't know what's in the cards for me and Catherine, but I can't stomach watching how Catherine eats her food. I can't promise a bright future for us. And you know what, guys? He's valid. He's, somebody's like right now, like, you should love her no matter what.
No,
okay?
no,
Look, everybody's got some quirks. What, are you perfect, Justin?
Compared to this bitch, yeah. Compared to a cast member of my strange addiction, I'm friggin' flawless.
Like, why are you so judgmental?
Judgment is a good thing. This is why I choose to carry the banner that judgment is a good thing.
So some doctors...
This is what happens when you remove judgment from the equation.
Yep. So doctors have weighed in on the issue. Dr. Matthew Hayden, a primary care physician who has warned about the dangers of nasal nutrition. Food, even if it's pureed, can become lodged in the throat or windpipe, blocking airflow and causing choking. Plus, items that are especially acidic. That was the first thing I was thinking of. Coffee would have to be like ruthless.
It's like people who get a coffee enema.
Yeah.
They get it up there.
They're like, wouldn't it be better to just get some crystal meth? Don't do drugs, but definitely don't snort your food.
Don't snort your food.
If
you must do one, take the drugs.
Hayden, the doctor worried about liquid in her lungs and infections that could spread throughout her central nervous system and kill her. Here's the other thing about that. And I hate to be so blunt about this. Much like the drug addict who dies of a drug overdose, you will be low on the totem pole for sympathy. If
Darwinism.
If people show up to your funeral and they're like, She was a fantastic woman. She loved everyone. She really did brighten the room. She brightened every room that she was in. But she died from snorting things through her nose, much like, those of us who have been in recovery. If I had died of a drug overdose, people would have been like, well, actually, I don't think anybody's ever said I lit up a room. And if you did, you're probably lying. But if
I'll
they did,
say it. You light up the damn room.
Okay, so if Mike was at my funeral and was like, and he really lit up a room, but,
what this stupid bitch was doing.
Yeah, it's. I guess that's the substance version of FAFO. So I pray that this woman will find a way to beat this.
I wish the doctor would have said what the calorie intake is, because she is not a thin woman.
No. Does it bypass? Does it somehow like double the calorie intake if you take it nasally?
You would think, someone's storing your food, you would think that like it'd look like Ariana Grande or something, but no, she looks like she's snorting everyone's food.
He examined her lungs and didn't find signs of wetness, which was a relief to Catherine. She says, "I've dodged a bullet. I've just been lucky," she said. So could this be the last straw for Catherine's aspiration addiction? She promised on the show that she's going to try my best to stop snorting my food. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to go about it, she added, but I'm going to try and begin taking baby steps every day. Well, I hope she does overcome it. Like, I know that we're being kind of callous here, but I would hope that she turns it around and can stop doing that. They said that she is, since the episode, she has since cut back. Since the filming of this episode. She says, "I'm doing my best to stop entirely, but it's taking time as I handle some inner work." As for Justin, Catherine said that he... Justin, he friend-zoned her.
No shit.
He never got me flowers or anything ever again, she told the Post. I would love to reconnect with him on a romantic basis down the line, as he was super sweet while we were dating. Well... If she gets rid of the snorting of the food, then maybe Justin will give her another chance.
I think Justin could do better.
Like Justin's like, look, there's a crackhead down the street, and they're at least thin. I'm sorry.
It's true. You know what though? Have you ever seen this show? Like, this bitch is one of the more normal ones.
Yeah, there's been some weird shit on there.
They like eat toilet paper. There was a chick who was eating her couch.
Yeah, people are weird, man. But the thing is like a lot of times these people are in relationships, like out there.
And I'm single, Brett.
Yes.
I'm single, and these people on my strange addiction are in relationships.
This is actually
they're in relationships.
It may be a bad thing for Catherine, or even like it may be a bad thing for you if you're not in a relationship, but you got to look at this as a good thing. You're like, look, if they can find somebody, I can find somebody. It can't be this difficult.
Here's hoping. Oh my God, I looked up the episodes of My Strange Addiction. Oh, men in doll suits. Men who get dolled up in secret or stepping out in public for the first time.
Well, that's the thing
at
now.
Rubber doll rendezvous.
Nobody feels any sort of like hesitancy to like be weird in public anymore, because it's just now considered some type of it's my orientation, or it's my leave me alone. Like, who are you to judge?
A human being with a functioning brain and eyes and other senses that they are offending.
Yeah.
Ugh, bring back shame. We've had Pride. We don't need Pride. We don't need Pride Month. We need Shame Month. We need Shame Decade. Let's make this at least Shame Year.
The thing is though, is it's too financially beneficial. You can monetize this type of stuff, whether you're the person with the weird shit, or if you're the person who's just making money off of it by reporting on it, like I'm doing right now. I admit, like, if this stuff was to go away, what would we talk about?
Oh, they had an episode with a bitch who likes to eat dirty diapers. That's what the episode is called. Eating dirty diapers.
See, it makes you feel better. You're like, I am so normal.
Yeah.
I am so normal. Okay.
compared to this.
Look, we're normal compared to the rest of these people. We're
I
good.
never thought anyone would make me seem normal.
Well, me and you are pretty normal, dude. All right.
Compared to that.
Let's actually, you know what? We got some time. Let's talk a little bit about some upcoming horror movies. Are there any horror movies, since you are the horror aficionado, are there any movies this year you're looking forward to?
Okay, first of all, like I said, you're a horror fan too, you just don't realize it. I will get you to be a horror fan.
Okay.
There's this movie I'm looking so forward to called Obsession. Curry Barker. He did this movie. You would love it. You have to see it. It's not gory. You would like it. Olivia would like it. It's so good. It's on YouTube. They made it for like $800 called Milk and Cereal.
Okay.
It is so good. You would love it. And so his new movie is coming out. They made this small movie for $800, put it up on YouTube, and it was so good. He got offered a couple million to make a feature. Oh my God. It's been at festivals and stuff, and people are saying it is sick. And it's really good. And also, I'm telling you not to like, toot my own horn or plug my own shit, but I'm telling you, the next upcoming genre that we are going to be seeing over the next few years, romantic horror.
Okay, so how would you describe romantic horror?
It could be all sorts of things. So I think they haven't really released a lot of details. They had one very vague teaser, but I think so it's apparently this guy who like makes a wish at some, I don't know, fortune teller or something. For the girl he likes to like him back, and he's obsessed with her.
Okay.
And I don't know what happens, but apparently it's nothing good.
Okay.
So I guess it's a commentary on that. Mine is sort of a commentary on love versus promiscuity and putting that in the framework of a slasher.
I could see it working given the fact that the hallmarks of the thriller genre can heavily, what we're seeing with The Housemaid being successful, the thriller that leans into like the trope of, whether it be obsessed women or, the scorned woman, things like that. We were talking about, what was it, Beyonce made Obsessed back in like that.
I was telling you, I went to go see that movie the night it came out in Harlem, and it was the greatest movie experience of my life.
That genre could lean itself into horror pretty easily without realizing it.
Or not even necessarily that genre where one of them is obsessed or crazy or something, but, we've always seen like the final girl, the final boy, but we might see the final couple. Because what's more romantic than like chainsawing killers with your person?
Saving the day from the chainsaw killers.
Yeah.
So these are some of the movies that are coming out this year. We've got We Buried the Dead that came out on January 2nd. It was
I haven't heard of that one.
Says we have at least 7 brand new horror movies dropping in January alone. The year starts off with We Buried the Dead after a successful festival run, including home best feature film at some film festival. We Bury the Dead is hitting U.S. theaters. Daisy Ridley stars in the zombie horror movie that centers on a catastrophic military disaster that causes the dead to rise. While the government insists that zombies are totally harmless, they won't do anything to you, just leave them alone. They'll leave you alone. Ridley's character uncovers a much more dangerous and violent truth. Do you care about zombies?
No, I'm not a zombie person.
Yeah.
Are you?
No, I loved the show iZombie, which was not really a zombie show, but I loved that show.
I never got into any of the zombie shows. I never watched Walking Dead.
Some of The Walking Dead in the first couple of seasons, fine, but after that,
I've heard
they went
very
on
much overstays its welcome.
for a very long time. We got Primate, comes out on January 9th. It opens the 2025 Fantastic Fest, and I think it's safe to say it's way gnarlier than any of us anticipated. Killer monkey horror movie with practical effects and gory kills. This is one of those screaming in the theater deals and a hell of a lot of fun. So, there's something there. 28 years later, I forgot that they made another one. I never saw. I heard this last one was terrible. Yeah. Called The Bone Temple, and it's called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Then we've got Night Patrol, Vampire Cops.
I've never really been into any of these subgenres like zombies or vampires. Or,
Return to Silent Hill, based on the video game.
I never played the game. I saw the first movie back in the day and hated it.
Okay. Mother of Flies. The Addams Family returns in full force. If you're ready for an independent filmmakers troupe, you're ready. You're in for a treat because
They're
is
not
a game.
the Addams Family, though.
No,
they're just Addams
yes,
Family.
not the Addams Family. This is the first American film to win the Fantasia Film Festival, and for very good reason. Witches are once again having a bit of a cinematic moment, and Toby Poser delivers an incredible take on his character. Send help. Sam Raimi.
That I'm excited for.
Yeah, I figured you'd be into this. So, survival horror Send Help stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien and follows two co-workers who become the sole survivors of a plane crash while on a business trip. Danny Elfman is composing this one, his 8th collaboration with Raimi, and all accounts.
Sam Raimi's making it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's basically like a horror version of Survivor. They were advertising it during Survivor. Like,
Okay.
I'm super excited for this.
Okay, Psycho Killer on February 20th. The name is needing some work. Georgina Campbell from Barbarian is back to battle a psycho killer. Zombieland director Gavin Polone is set to helm the upcoming feature with a script written by Seven and Sleepy Hollow scribe Andrew Kevin Walker. Campbell stars as a highway patrol officer on a mission to track down her husband's killer. Given all the folks involved with this one, will definitely be seated. And then, of course, Scream 7.
Woo!
I mean, the first trailer didn't really do it for me.
I'm hoping that it's so great to see Sidney Prescott back.
Yep.
I'm hoping the cinematography.
Again, it was another example of really, really flat and uninspired cinematography.
But Kevin Williamson is directing, so I'm hoping. I'm so hoping.
Yep, me too.
I wonder who the DP was on this, because I was hoping that bringing back a lot of the old people, like Kevin Williamson and Marco Beltrami is doing the score. Like, maybe they'll bring back. I forget. I can't think. I still
believe so. The score for
Peter Deming.
Not the score, but the soundtrack to the original Scream is one of my favorite movie soundtracks of all time.
It's so good. It's
so
good.
The Bride.
I'm hoping.
The Bride, if I remember correctly, was the Maggie Gyllenhaal movie.
That sounds like it's going to be a feminist update for modern audiences of The Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, well, that's what we're all. The Dolly, which is what is that? Is that playing on Annabelle / Megan?
Yeah, it's another entry in the Killer Doll pantheon. I'm very excited. I love my Killer Doll movies.
Okay, They Will Kill You.
I've heard this one is good. I've heard good things. I have some friends who saw some screenings of it.
Okay. Ready or Not 2, Here I Come.
I'm excited for that. Did you see the first one?
I did not. I love the name.
That's one you guys would like. It's not. See, I feel like I know the right horror movies that you guys would be into.
You'll have to give me some recommendations.
I got you.
The Mummy from Evil Dead director Lee Cronin is slated to write and direct this Blumhouse monster movie. Not much info yet. Disclosure Day.
Nowadays I hear Blumhouse and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Disclosure Day. I've seen quite a few people talking about that because it's Steven Spielberg. Long Mysterious,
that one.
Yeah, UFO movie with a title, a trailer, and a release date this summer will be it'll be Steven Spielberg's 37th feature film. And then, of course, Evil Dead Burn. You're getting another Evil Dead movie.
I'm in the minority on this. I didn't love the last one.
Okay.
I know a lot of people did. You know what I watched the other night? Have you seen the Spielberg West Side Story?
I didn't know. I'm not like the 2021 one? No.
Yeah.
I don't watch musicals.
Ah,
I was forced to watch Mean Girls the musical for the channel, and I was
that was
bad.
Does Olivia like musicals?
No. What? That was the funny thing is that was our first movie that we went to together. I felt so bad for her.
Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah. She was forced to go to the Mean Girls musical with us.
Oh, that's terrible.
She was probably like that probably could have ended our relationship before it even started.
No, they had the West Side Story remake. Like, the things that were good about it were really good. Like, the costumes were great, the music, etc. But the woke shit is just so jammed in there.
I remember
they have an entire trans side quest.
Yeah.
Where this movie is supposed to be about gangs in the 1950s, and they have the trans character, this chick who's like, I'm not a boy. And then it's supposed to be heartwarming at the end that the gang is like, you're a great girl, or the opposite. She's like, I'm not a girl.
It was the Will Byers speech.
Like, oh, you're a great guy. and the music comes in. The London Philharmonic comes in, and oh, get the hell out of here.
So we've also got the Clayface movie. That is the new DC. That's basically a DC horror movie. That's it's not getting a whole lot of play from Warner Brothers right now. They don't seem to have as much faith in Clayface as they do with Superman himself. They don't seem to have as much faith in Supergirl either. I kind of liken Clayface as a movie, given that he's a Batman villain, like Rogues Gallery, that the Clayface movie will be more akin to like the Spider-Man, like all of the Sony movies that were set in the Spider-Man universe but didn't have Spider-Man, meaning like Venom, Kraven the Hunter, Morbius. Everybody knows how bad Morbius was.
Ooh.
Like, it's not going to do as well, in my opinion, as Venom, because I think Venom is much more recognizable to normies than Clayface is. Resident Evil. Yes, we're getting the Zach Cregger's Resident Evil movie.
I've never watched any of those.
I've only seen the first couple, and they're kind of good schlock. They're good.
Really?
They're good schlock to watch if you turn your brain off. So lots of horror movies. And Violent Night 2. I wouldn't classify Violent Night as a horror movie.
I didn't know they were doing a sequel.
I loved the first Violent Night. That was great. That's not a horror movie.
I can't believe Obsession isn't on here. I'm so excited for that.
Werewolf from Robert Eggers. I can't believe we have a Zach Cregger's and a Robert Eggers.
I can't believe I never realized that before.
Yeah. So we got that. There's a lot coming out this year. There aren't, if I'm going to be honest, there aren't a whole bunch of movies that I'm super excited for. I'm kind of interested in Project Hail Mary, and
what's that?
It's this. Let me see if I can pull up the trailer for you. It's actually really.
This trailer just came out today for this A24 horror movie that's coming out called Undertone that looked interesting.
There's some stuff coming out this year, but you know, it's
this last year had to be the worst year for horror movies in at least the last decade.
What was the best of them that you saw?
Probably Weapons.
Okay.
Which was really fun, but it's very much overhyped. Like, it was good, but it just doesn't compare to movies from the last couple years.
All right, we're gonna go through the super chats here, then, guys. Let's do that. Let's get through these super chats here. First, here up top from Shane H. Wilder says, "Happy Thrashing Thursday, Brett and Mike." Well, actually, I don't know if it technically counts as Thrashing Thursday if Phil's not here. I think Phil has to be here.
Where's Phil? Bring him in.
They're all out of town. Says, "I'm rewatching The Mentalist, and all I can think of is, damn, the early mid-2000s were the peak of television." Yes, I said to him in the chat when I first opened up the stream today, I said I should just do like a 6-hour episode talking about The Mentalist. That would be, I could do
I never
that.
watched that. Do I need to?
I mean, it's more it's probably something you think of as more my genre than yours. It's for it's not Canadian, but it is it's boomer procedural slop, but it's not
I love that.
It's not technically procedural because although it is episodic a lot of the times, there are serialized elements because they're looking for there's like a ongoing story with a serial killer that the main character Patrick Jane is trying to track down. But Did
you ever watch my favorite, the best law procedural of all time, The Practice?
I have only seen like a couple of episodes. It's on streaming, and it's like one of those ones
good.
that it's. But that was who was it that made The Practice? It was
David E. Kelly.
David E. Kelly, right? So
he had that and Ally McBeal.
Yeah, he was a big deal.
Day.
He was a big deal. Wait, who was it that did Boston Legal?
He did that too.
I love
I'm not
Boston
a fan of
Legal
that because so what they did is the last season of The Practice they fired basically the entire cast. And turned it into like the entire season into like a backdoor pilot for Boston Legal.
I love Boston Legal.
Well, and it was really good that last season because it was Boston Legal, but it was very dark. And so I was really excited. So then when Boston Legal came out and it's a comedy, it was too jarring for me. Like, I loved that sort of dark Boston Legal of the last season.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I actually was talking about that recently because I had, as everybody knows, as I am the world's biggest fan of boomer procedurals, I finally went back and watched the backdoor pilot for NCIS all the way back in like 2003 or something. It was on JAG because JAG was the show in which it spun off of, which started in like 95. And the pilot for that was also a bit more darker than what the show ended up actually being once it came out. But I posted this the other day. People will laugh at this. I talk a lot about about the Blue Sky era of the USA Network, which was like White Collar, Burn Notice, Covert Affairs, Graceland, all of these great shows. But underrated is the mid-2000s era of the TNT network. So we're talking...
Oh, yeah, the Closer.
Yes, The Closer, Major Crimes, Leverage, Librarians, Perception, Rizzoli and Isles, Saving Grace, Southland. If you haven't seen Southland, you should. Franklin and Bash, which I just saw for the first time, and it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, I used to watch that.
Yes. Falling Skies, Legends, The Last Ship, Agent X, Murder in the First, Proof. Proof is like literally a show about a doctor who gets hired by a billionaire to find proof that life after death. It's the most preposterous thing in the entire world. It's awesome. But the point is that's my genre. So if you like any of that genre, you might like The Mentalist. It's very good. All right. Greg Duvier says all horror movies are the same, very predictable, and more comedy than scary. Do you agree?
No.
Are they doing it wrong?
You're doing it wrong. What's his name?
Greg Duvier.
Greg, buddy, you're doing it wrong. Like, hit me up. I will send you a list of horror movies to watch that are not like that. I will send you good ones.
Okay.
You're wrong.
All right. High Voltage 75 says, Mike, as a horror movie fan, do you have any thoughts on the new Return of the Living Dead movie supposedly coming out later this year?
There is one?
Apparently.
I didn't know that. The one from the 80s is... Have you ever seen that, Brett?
Yes.
Oh, nothing could compare to that. I feel like that's one... who's doing it? I gotta look this up.
Look it up. I'll keep going. Rebel Sky.
I feel like that's one that they're gonna screw up. There's no way.
That's how I feel about the X-Files reboot. It's gonna get screwed up.
Oh, and it's what's his name is doing.
Ryan
it's gonna
Coogler.
be a bunch of race communism.
Yeah.
Devin Sawa is in this one. Devin Sawa, fun fact, was very upset about something I said once and has me blocked.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Wait,
I got into a weird feud one day with Devin Sawa.
Devin Sawa, who I most famously know as one of the kids from the underrated masterpiece Little Giants.
Why does that sound familiar?
Football
oh my God,
movie.
I know that.
Yeah, football movie. Kids football movie.
Oh my God,
with Rick Moranis
when I was a kid.
With Rick Moranis and Ed O'Neill.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was like erased from my memory for years.
Movie's amazing. The annexation of Puerto Rico. All right. Devin Sawa's. So what was it that you did? Why does he have you
I don't
blocked?
even remember. He would we got into some sort of Twitter spat, but he's a super lib. I'm like, you know what? I take back having a crush on you as a teenager. Okay. I'm like, I think I wrote it. I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't even.
I take
hit
it back.
I'm like, well, okay, I would still hit it, but it would be less enthusiastically.
What is he doing these days? I wonder what Devin Sawa's doing these days.
Nothing. He was in the Chucky TV series.
See, I remember him from he was in Casper. Obviously, people remember him from Casper, and I remember him from Nikita. He was in the 2010. He was in the 2010 Maggie Q Nikita series.
He was in Idle Hands. Did you ever see that?
Final Destination.
Did you ever see Idle Hands?
I did.
He was in that.
My God.
So apparently the guy
1999? That's like seeing, it's like seeing what was it, Orange County for the first time around that time, like just decades ago.
Oh my God, I totally saw that when it came out.
Apparently
the guy who's doing the new Return of the Living Dead has done basically nothing before.
That's a red.
So I don't have
flag.
hopes for this. Yeah, I don't have hopes for this. I'm guessing it's going to be some sort of like straight to streaming thing.
Yeah. Devin Sawa's he's acting regularly. He's acting regularly.
He was in that nutty movie with John Travolta that Fred Durst directed.
What?
Oh, Brett, if you haven't seen this, we should do like a watch party
along
stream.
We could do that.
What is it called? It's not called Obsessed, but it has some title like that.
Wait, when did it come out?
Maybe like 7-8 years ago.
So we're talking like the mid 2010s?
Something like late 2010. I don't know. I'm looking this up. It is the greatest bad movie I have ever seen. 2019 the Fanatic.
Okay.
And oh my God, John Travolta is like this big bloated booze bag now. He looks terrible.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's.
Funny thing, John Travolta wanted to play. They were going to be, for a long time, they were supposed to be making a movie about my grandfather, and John Travolta wanted to play him. My grandfather was an Italian singer.
Okay.
John Travolta was like dying to play him.
Wait, what was your grandfather's name?
Jimmy Roselli.
Okay. He's a big deal.
Him and Frank Sinatra were like rivals with each other. But yeah, John Travolta wanted to do his own singing as my grandfather. My grandfather was like, hell no.
Not on my watch.
They had one iteration of it at one point though, where Nicolas Cage was gonna play him. I'm like, I would pay money to see that movie.
Absolutely. All right. Rebel Sky says, what people missed is the Stranger Things date the 7th, but forgot to upside down it. 7 is L and L equals 12. You count the letters, so the 12th something. Okay. I mean, if you end up being correct, that's awesome.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about all that. But here's the thing. You could be right, and then you get the last laugh. You get the last laugh if that ends up being true. All right. I like the saying I've told this on the show before. So I've been watching Franklin and Bash. Franklin and Bash has a character played by Kumail Nanjiani. I love Kumail Nanjiani as he did the podcast the X-Files files, which was like a rewatch, an X-Files rewatch podcast, and he would have on actors who were on the show, and he had on one of the original lone gunmen who would talk about how he was legit like that in real life, and said like the saying was, at the end of the day, the only thing a conspiracy theorist gets when they are correct is to just say, I told you so. And that's really all you get from it.
That's true.
For all the ostracization you face, all you really get to say is, see,
the entire year 2020, I'm just like, I told you so.
Yeah. All right. Shane H. Wilder says, you don't do cringe of the day because you're already cringe. Lol, JK. Come on, this joke was a layup. Plus, I guess you could make the argument that I made you guys look at a lady who snorts food. Maybe that was the cringe of the day.
I thought I was here to provide the cringe.
There you go. Manic Mustache.
I don't like girls.
That's the cringe. You're just like,
I mean, other than I feel like I personify the cringe.
That's okay. You have to learn to embrace the cringe. We all do. I always embrace my cringe.
Hell yeah.
Manic Mustache says, late as usual, but apropos autism now being part of the Special Olympics, has a leaky pipe in the backyard. I couldn't find a pipe wrench anywhere on the compound. Now we have a water feature. Stay toxic, my friends. I'm going to read that again. Late as usual, but apropos autism now being a part of the Special Olympics, had a leaky pipe in the backyard. I couldn't find a pipe wrench anywhere on the compound. Now we have a water feature. Stay toxic, my friends. Thank you for that.
Is that code?
Must be.
Someone we know?
TX Goliath says, Ryan Gosling in Star Wars could make killer memes. Yes, it could. Yeah, if you blend them together with his Ken memes. Texas Goliath also adds Adam Driver would revive Star Wars. I don't know about all that. I've seen people pushing for that. I don't know. Shane H. Wilder.
I heard the description of what his movie would have been, and it sounded better than some of it, but I don't know. Like I said, I think it's irreparably damaged.
All right. Shane H. Wilder says, well, I'm no longer hungry. What makes food enjoyable is tasting it. Why would you do that? We aren't kids on field day snorting pixie sticks on a bet. You should not do that. Greg Duvier says, that was me with the pixie sticks comment. Yes, thank you, Greg. He was in the X page. Thank you for that. Manic Mustache. Just throw my earbud like was on fire. Hate you, Brett. I'm guessing because of the crisis meter. The crisis party.
Oh.
Sorry about that, bro. Shane H. Wilder says, Brett lights up a room. Literally, he has to turn on the studio lights when he gets in. That is true. Shane H. Wilder says, it's always Thrashing Thursday if you believe enough. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
I like your positive energy. Pop Culture Junkie says, there's a variation on the old Hollywood phrase regarding color grading. No problem. We can ruin it in post.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what they're doing.
Greg Duvier says, I only saw The Ring because it scared the shit out of my older sister. I went to see it. I laughed 50% of the time and shamed my sister for being scared. There you go.
Okay. Greg, I got one for you, a recent one that's really good. It's not funny. It's pretty dark. It's really good. Watch Talk to Me.
Okay. All right. Guys.
And report back. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, Greg, you should watch it and then send us a chat tomorrow or whenever you see it and let us know. All right, guys, before we go, I want to thank all of you again so much for joining us today. We cannot do the show without you guys. So please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Remember, Mary will be live again tomorrow on Friday. She will be live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm doing Tuesdays and Thursdays with special sit-in co-hosts. So thank you, Mike, for helping out today.
Thanks for having me. I love getting to come on my favorite show. This is awesome.
Let everybody know where they can find you, my friend.
I'm on the Twitter at @NotMikeHarlow, or check out my YouTube channel, just my name, Mike Harlow, or I'm on the Instagram at Mikey.Harlow. I have my show Microaggressed that I stream. I was on a little break from that, but coming back this week. Yeah, just doing fun stuff. You got to come on again soon, dude. I've missed you.
Yeah, we'll make the time for it. Also, by the way, guys, all of Mike's socials, I believe they are in the description box, so you can follow him down below. If you want to follow me, guys, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can also rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which is another great way to help the channel out. So thank you guys so much for that. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook at PopCultureCrisis, Instagram at PopCultureCrisisPod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Bye, everybody.